Happy New Year! Welcome to the very first episode of Honestly Alice! Woo woo! I'm so excited about this, and I'm so glad that you're here and are listening in. I don't know how you got here, if you know me, or just stumbled across this, but whatever the case, thank you for being here, and I hope you'll enjoy the show. So you must be wondering, what is Honestly Alice? Well, as the name suggests, this is a show where Alice, me, keeps it 100% honest with you. Now, my friends and my family will tell you that honesty should have been my name. I like Alice. Correction, I love my name, Alice. But if I had another name, it probably would have been Honesty. But on this show, I'll talk about, things like love, family, life, movies, and then we'll have serious conversations like, should Donald Trump be the next American president? Or is it right that we keep blaming corrupt African leaders for the demise in their own country's potential? This is the show where you have private conversations, except on a public platform. You know those things you talk about with your friends only when you're inside a house away from everyone? Well, this is that show, except you don't have to be in your house. You can be wherever when you're listening to this, and you can talk to other people about it. But why am I making this show? Because honestly, the only way we can improve ourselves and improve the society is we need to acknowledge where we are, where we've come from, and where we hope to go. And no pun intended, but we need to be honest not only to ourselves, but to others. So Honestly Alice is just here hoping to change the conversation we all have one episode at a time. And I hope that you will join me along this journey because it will be fun. It will be exciting. I don't even know what's going to come up. So you'll know when I record it. So just moral of the story, just stay tuned, But that's Honestly Alice. And on that note, today we're going to be talking about 3 things: New Year's resolutions, the happiness jar, and delightful cookies. So when it comes to New Year's resolutions, I have 2 ways that I usually tell people that I believe are successful ways in tackling them. But before I get into that, there's this quote I've seen floating around on social media. New year, new me. No. How about New Year, better me? Yeah, I think that sounds better. I cracked myself up. That wasn't planned, but that was good. Yay, points to me. Okay. But in all seriousness, just think about it. By saying new me, you're throwing away all the good and bad about you from all the previous years. The very things that define you, you're dismissing them like they never existed. Like you never lost the 15 pounds you wanted to. You never started your own business. You never forgave your father or got through any trials and tribulations over the past few years. You just want to throw all of that away? Okay. What if I said it like this? New year, new friends. Now, some of you have friends that need to be left in 2015 because there's no better way to say this, but they're just bad news. They got to go. Like, sweetie pie, you are not on this bandwagon. But, that's a topic for another day. We'll get into friends into another day, but that's not for today. That's just, a side, what is it called? Side note. That's just a side note. But for the most part, you're carrying with you your old friends, friends that were there when you needed a laugh, and friends that were there when you got married or you needed to move. Solid people who were in your corner and were just all around, and you're trying to tell me you want to leave all of that behind? Of course not. You take them with you, and if you make new friends in the new year, that's great, but you'll still have your old friends. So all I'm trying to say is this year, instead of this whole new year, new me, how about new year, better me? That's just my 2 cents on the topic. Okay. Topic number 1, New Year's resolutions. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why your New Year's resolutions never work? Why is it that by mid-January, the gym is back to its normal capacity and healthy eating is at the door? I think it's because your resolutions are, to be honest, too extreme. You have a massive goal that you want to reach in the shortest amount of time. Ooh, I said that wrong. You have a massive goal that you want to reach in the shortest time ever. You want to run a marathon and be a Kenyan. Like me, I don't run marathons just yet. I can do a 10K, but big up to my fellow Kenyan marathon runners and my fellow Kenyans. I just had to, slide that in real fast. But how do you want to run a marathon and you can't even jog to the corners of the street? Come on, where are your priorities? But in all honesty, you haven't succeeded because you forgot the most vital thing in accomplishing your resolutions, which is baby steps. Everything good takes time, and you need to plan around that. But most importantly, you need to be kind to yourself. So, if one of your resolutions is to run, a marathon, then you need to work backwards. You need to ask yourself, what do I need to do now to ensure that by the time the end of year comes, I've run that marathon? Do not, and I repeat, do not try running 5 miles on a treadmill the first day at the gym. You're only killing yourself for no reason and mentally psyching yourself out of ever running this marathon. Studies have shown that it takes 21 days to break a habit, but it also takes 21 days to form a habit. So that means you need to get yourself mentally prepared to fight against your own mind. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are our own best friend, but also our own worst enemy. And we have this little voice in us called doubt, that tells us we can't succeed. And as soon as there's any sign of failure, it creeps right up and says, see, told you. So how do you silence this little voice, Well, if you want to run this marathon, you go to a gym, you find a trainer, and you tell them that, by the end of the year, I would like to run a marathon. And then you ask them to help you make a workout plan. Now, your big resolution has suddenly been broken down into tangible pieces that are easy to digest. In your plan, you'll have many milestones that you will notice. The first mile you ran without stopping. The first mile when your mile per minute increased. It's these little milestones that keep you going because you always notice you're better off now than you were at the beginning of the year. And you've already started, so you might as well keep going. Another thing about New Year's resolutions is it's so easy if we just keep it to ourselves because we're not accountable to anyone else. But suddenly when we have to report into somebody else, game changer. It's hard to slack off when you have someone that's going to text you or call and saying, hey, how was your workout? Or, whatever you've decided your resolution is. For some reason, it's easy to disappoint ourselves, but it's much, much harder to disappoint others. So, my tips are to make your resolutions work. You need to write it down, and then you need to break it down into either monthly or weekly goals, and then become accountable not only to yourself, but to somebody else by telling them. Now, the show is called Honestly Alice, right? So I guess I have to be honest. And just kind of give you, my honest confession here. I started making New Year's resolutions back in 2001. I lied. Woo-hoo-hoo. Not 2001. 2009. Yes, 2009. That was sophomore year of college. Woo, good times. You are right. Go Rhodey. But I stopped because I could never keep them. Go figure, I end up just giving you tips to keep your resolutions. However, I was just like, you know what? I can't keep a New Year's resolution, but I'm going to come up with something else. So instead of making resolutions, I decided that I would have a word that I would choose to live by. I would pray about it and I would ask the Holy Spirit and God, yes, I am Christian, to reveal this word to me in various forms, be it through people that I spoke to things that I read, or a word that was constantly being thrown around me. And, it was something that was bold enough and significant enough that I had to pay attention to it. So last year, 2015, my word was ambition. And, as you would expect, with a word so big and grand, life did try to knock me off. And I'll admit, there were many moments I wanted to throw in the towel. But God, I stayed in and I noticed that all of my experience were actually preparing me for this. 2015 was my year of preparation for my ambition. And this show is honestly a fruit of my ambition and my preparation. They say experience is the best teacher, but you also can't argue with experience. As someone who cooks, I am not taking any cooking advice from someone that doesn't know the difference between grill and broil. Just not gonna happen. Nope, miss me with that. But ultimately, we're all the same, We listen to people who have been through something that we can relate to and most importantly, connect to. That's just how we're, wired up as humans. So in 2015, my word was ambition, and rightfully so, it bred into my word of 2016 of appreciation. Now, I'm so excited and so eager to see what this word is going to do for me, but most importantly, what it's going to show me in 2016. Because it's only 6 days in, and I have already seen so much, and it's unbelievable. Catch me at the last episode for this year, and you'll probably be mind blown on this journey that I'm on. But my question to you is, on the 6th day today, January 6th, 2016, what is going to be your word? What word have people been telling you, about you? Or what word has been thrown around you often, like brave, love, peace, something that you can embody and encompass, and whether you are Christian or whatever religion, or if you're spiritual, become in tune with yourself and with your maker. In my case, it's Jesus Christ, and it's in praying and asking, for that guidance. And then you will start to see the signs as to what your word should be. We're only 6 days into the new year. It's not too late to pick up a new word. It's actually never too late. We get a new day every day, so if it means you have to ponder on this for the next couple of days and just be attentive to your surroundings and to all the conversations you're having, do that, but I would strongly encourage that, if you're not going to do the first part of the resolutions where you're breaking them down into little miniature goals, then find a word, believe in this word, encompass this word, and have it be your word for 2016, So once you figured it out, leave a comment on my Facebook page, Instagram, Blog Talk Radio, or Twitter telling me what your word is, and just add #HonestlyAlice at the end. I will follow you, I will like it, and I will be someone that is going to cheer you on, because we all need a cheerleader, What's the song? Ooh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. Na 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 na. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm okay. So yeah, that was all. Now I'm really, really excited about this because I'm actually bringing this, back from the archives. And I think you guys are really gonna like this. So back in 2012, I had a happiness jar. Yes, you heard me, a happiness jar. It's real simple, and I'll explain it. Anytime you're happy, you write it on a piece of paper. I made chocolate chip cookies, or recorded my first episode for Honestly Alice. Whatever it is that makes you happy, you write it down. And then you fold it up so that it's small enough to fit into a jar. But before you place it in the jar, you write the date on it, and then you put it in the jar. But here's the catch. You don't get to read anything in the jar until December 31st. Why? At the end of the year, it makes perfect sense for you to reflect on the year that you've had, and by reading of all the things that made you happy, it actually makes it easier to say goodbye to the old year and say hello to the new year. We live in such a world that it's so common that when bad things happen, it overshadows and clouds the small things that make us happy. Something like Kahembo texted me to see how I was doing, or I had enough money for a train ticket to get to church, or, Joy called me from Texas, just to tell me about the devotional we're both reading, Anything that makes you happy, write it down. And the best thing and my favorite thing about all of this is the same way that you feel about it in the moment is the same way you'll feel when you're rereading it, So December 31st comes and you will dump this huge jar of just happiness. It's actual happiness that you can see because you've written it down, and you'll look at the date and it will say, 3/3/16 or 9/2/16 or 2/7/16 or whatever date it is, and you'll open it up and it will be like Mom's birthday, or I just ate a whole tub of Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, or whatever it is. And, you'll just get happy reading it again. And, there's never too much happiness in the world. And I think we all need that happiness. So, for you to do this, you will need to find an empty jar. If you don't have one in your house, just, go buy one at the dollar store or whatever nearest store is near to you. Decorate it if you want to. I get mine, pre-decorated. I'm not really, the artsy type. That's my roommate, Winnie, who is phenomenal. Shout out to Winnie, who is in Parsons School of Design. And, she's the next big thing. Watch out for her. In a couple of episodes, I will have her on as a guest. She doesn't know that I'm giving her this shout out right now, as she is currently in the motherland, enjoying that good weather. And I'm here in Brooklyn, New York, cold, but God is good. The heat is on. I'm not complaining, and I'm pursuing my dream. I'm making my dream a reality with this podcast. That was just kind of a sidetrack. So you will need an empty jar, loads and loads of paper and pen, and, start writing it down, So we're only 6 days in to the new year. So if you want, you can start on the 6th day, or you can just, take time to remember all the things that made you happy from January 1st until today and add it into your jar. Or if you want, so there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can either do this at the end of every day, or if you're like me, I always carry pen and paper on me. You want to write down the happy moment after it's happened, not during, but after. Why? Because you don't want to miss out on the moment. You want to actually live in the moment. We are so fast to want to capture the moment instead of experience the moment. But that's for another day. So if you can tell, I'm giving you little hints into what honestly Alice is going to be about, so once whichever way you decide, write it down and then, put it in your jar. And, to be honest with you, after my morning devotionals and my prayers, this is the second best thing that I look forward to, because I'm welcoming and allowing myself to be happy and to let happiness come to me, because I'm letting that energy out and it's coming back to me, so I will find happiness in the little things, and that's what you need, especially here in the wintertime, because it's so easy to be grouchy and because it's cold and the sun goes down. And don't get me going on a rant about the winter, because me from the motherland, I'm used to consistent time and everything, sun rises and sets at the same time every day of the year because the equator passes, but it's cool. It's fine. I don't feel any type of way. But yeah, there's always something to be happy about. And if you look for it, you will find it. In the Bible, it says, seek and you will find. And in life, it is true. Seek and you shall find. Seek happiness and you shall find happiness. As they say, if misery needs company, if you're walking around miserable is going to come to you. But if you're walking around being all happy, guess what? You're more than likely going to attract happiness. But that's a side note. So get your paper, get some pens, a pen or whatever, get a jar, happy writing, and put your things in a happy jar. But before I leave you, for those who know me, you will know how much I love to cook. I'm that girl who is always just like, I can't wait to fall in love and get married and have kids and be a mom and cook for my kids. I'm going to be that mom who is just like, do you want to have a sleepover this weekend? Because I want to cook for all your friends, and do you have what is those baking things called in school? What are they called? My mind, it's too early, too late, wherever you are in the world. But I love to cook. I absolutely love to cook, and a confession from me, I use my Snapchat as a makeshift cooking show. So if you want to cook with me, feel free to follow me on Snapchat at Miss Alice 2, and you can get some recipes from me and, cook along with me. But you must be wondering, why am I telling you this? Well, for each show, I will share with you guys a recipe for the week. It's a recipe that I not only loved cooking, but I absolutely loved to eat. So, this week, it is Alice's chocolate chip cookies. Well, it's actually Betty Crocker's recipe, but, I don't think she'll mind if I put my name. I gave her credit. I've said it's Betty Crocker's recipe, but these are Alice's chocolate chip cookies. Side note, if you are into categories and a gamer, chocolate chip cookies, triple letters, boom, winning CCC. Remember that. Okay. Anyway, I made these chocolate chip cookies for New Year's. After church, a couple of friends, we had a get together and I made them and they were a hit. I don't know if you're like me, but if I'm going to a place and everyone's been asked to make certain things, I don't want to make too much, because if you make too much and it doesn't work out, then it's just like, I just spent so much time, so much money on this food and it's wasted. It doesn't taste good, but then on the other hand, you make it and it's just enough, but it's really good. Yeah, this is what happened. These cookies were such a hit. They were done so fast, and I honestly wish that I had made, a second batch. It was one of those where it's just like, oh, they're finished, Everyone was sad. I was sad too. And, I'm not trying to hype myself up, but, sometimes you have to, but these were some good cookies. They were good, so I was just like, next time, I'm going to make 2 batches, so the next event that I have to go to where I'm asked to, we have to bring in something, I will make Alice's chocolate chip cookies, and I'll make 2 batches, and I'll put the first batch out, and when those are done, and people be like, oh my gosh, they're done, I'll just let them wallow in that, those cookies are done, and then I don't know, would be like, hi, guess what? I have a second batch. Wait, in my mind, that was going to work, but I just realized that I said it, and once you say it, you can't take it back. And so the people who I'm probably going to be seeing next time have probably heard this or are listening to this right now, and I'm probably just like, yes, we got 2 batches of cookies. And so she's probably going to make an extra one. No, I'm not making 3 batches of cookies. Nobody has time. Do you have time? Do you? Because I don't. I love to cook, but 3 batches of cookies, I might as well go into manufacturing, but I crack myself up. Okay, focus. But no. So the next time I will make 2 batches, but for those who are going to be there at the next time, wherever this next time is, just, act surprised when the other batch comes. But, who knows? I may just decide to cook something else next time and just throw you guys for a loop. Anyways, here is the recipe for Alice's chocolate chip cookies, inspired by the original Betty Crocker. I'll need you to get some pen and paper, and you can write this down. Or if not, you can wait a couple of days, and on Instagram, I will be posting the recipe below. Well, how's this picture and a caption? The recipe will be, yeah, you got it. Okay, so this is what you need. 3/4 cup of regular sugar. 3/4 cup of brown sugar. 1 cup of margarine. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 bag of Hershey Kisses. So, to start off, you mix your 2 sugars, your egg, and your vanilla extract together. Then, you add the flour, salt, and baking powder. Once all of that has come into a dough form, you then add your Hershey Kisses and you mix it together. Then you want to get a cookie tray or just, a regular tray. Put some foil on it and add some oil on it because the kisses tend to stick to the bottom of trays if they're not cooking trays. And then you want to get a tablespoon or an ice cream, whatever. You want to just scoop out 1 tablespoon of the dough, roll it into a bowl. Wow. Roll it into a ball, like a ball. And then you want to place it on the tray. Now, you want to make sure that there is at least 1 inch apart from each one of them because the cookies will, as they're cooking, they will expand. And you don't want them sticking together. So make sure they're 1 inch apart. And you want to keep putting your little balls on the tray until it is full. If you have a gas oven like me, you just place the cookies in the oven and you turn the heat up to 375 degrees and you cook it for 8 minutes. If you have an electric oven, you want to preheat the oven to 375 degrees, before you start your mixing shenanigans. And after 8 minutes, you want to take it out and you let it cool on the tray for 3 minutes. Now, usually at this time, I will come into the sitting room which is also known as the living room here in America. And I will play a song and jam out to it because the song will usually be 3 minutes 30. As soon as the song is done, I know that is my cue to go into the kitchen, get the cookies off the cooking tray and place them on a cooling rack. Repeat this process until you no longer have any cookie dough, raw cookie dough that is. And then once they're all cooled back, you want to sit back and enjoy the decadent cookies that you've made. So insert your name, chocolate chip cookies. So thank you, Betty Crocker, for your lovely recipe. And for you that are not in the US, when I post the recipe on Instagram and Facebook, I will also include the measurements for your metric system. But before I let you go, here is a quick recap of what we talked about. New year, better me. To make your resolutions work, you want to write them down, break them into mini goals, and be accountable to someone. You want to choose a word for 2016. Mine is appreciation. You want to create your own happiness jar. And then you want to bake these delicious cookies or give the recipe to, somebody who can bake. Well, guys, that is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for listening to Honestly Alice. And I will see you next week. Bye.